Hey everyone, it's Chris here. Welcome back to Elemental Cartomancy. I'm coming on today to do a kind of walkthrough slash first impressions of the Murder of Crows tarot. And this is the limited edition that I've got. With the kind of the shades of red that go through the cards, whereas I think the standard edition is black and white. So it comes in this lovely box, sturdy, magnetic, flips open like this. You can see I've got number 489, and they made 2,999. I wonder why they didn't just make 3,000. But anyway, it comes with these two extra cards. Well, actually four, but they're two double-sided cards. So you've got the Crow of the Dawn and the Crow of the Dusk, and we have the Crow Mother and the Crow Father. Now, I've not read too much into these cards. However, my understanding is they're intended to be used as significators of some sort. The book that comes with this deck, it's a kind of standard medium white book, I would maybe say. It's actually pretty impressive though. I've been having a look through it, and I'm quite impressed with some of the kind of information that's in it. So you've got this first first paragraph that kind of explains a bit about the crows that we see in the images. Let me just zoom in, just in case you want to read this here. So it says, "You awaken on a strange shore. Before you lies a land of mist and intrigue. In places, it's a treacherous and desolate wasteland. Let your gaze penetrate the mist, and you will find a dreamscape filled with wonders. On this journey, your constant companions are a murder of crows, black-winged and cunning. These are the extraordinary messengers of the other world, the answer to unseen powers. Their croaks and caws convey great wisdom. Their far-seeing eyes pierce the vast distances of time and the far reaches of space. Nothing is hidden from them for long. If you follow where they lead, your adventure will transform you inside and out." So the crows are very much intended to be beings of wisdom and knowledge in this deck. So that's just something to bear in mind as we go through the deck, which we'll do shortly. Now, a couple of the other things that I wanted to show you in the book. I won't read all of this out, but I did want to kind of quickly touch on what it says about the suits. So the suits of the minor arcana. Now, it says that the cups depict the realm of dreams ruled by the element of water. The heart may break and can be healed so that it can be refilled and become stronger than before. Many companions wait to join you on your journey. So, I mean, it's very much, what we would normally expect of the cups, but it's maybe just put in a slightly different way. So here you find yourself ask, what are the characters depicted in the card feeling? What am I feeling? So it's all about feelings. The pentacles are the realm of greed, ruled by earth. Many resources lie within and beneath the rich soil of this place. They wait to be found and shaped and benefit you and your tasks. So when you find yourself in this realm, you ask, what are the characters depicted in this card creating? What do I wish to create? So it's very much about creation. And then wands, the realm of growth. And it says, what do the characters depict in this card? What do the characters depicted in this card desire? What do I desire? And then swords is the realm of riddles, ruled by the element of air. It's an intellectually confusing and deadly place, but those with a swift mind and keen perception will act quickly and escape the mental traps and bring back the treasures they need. And I've got my sticky thing over this here, but it says when we're in this realm, we ask ourselves, what do the characters depicted in this card believe they know? What do I believe I know? So it's interesting that it says, you know, it's about the belief of knowing. And what do I believe that I know? And it really just kind of is suggestive of this idea that we really, at the start of the day and at the end of the day, we really don't know anything, you know. It's all just perception. So Cups about feeling, Pentacles about creating, Wands about growth and desire, and then the Swords are about the perception of knowledge. And then the Courts, the pages are just starting out on a new path to understand the energy of their suit. They have a desire to learn and grow. So it's like a youthful spirit. The Knights have learned enough to finally strike out on their own and directly experience the energy of their suit. They move quickly, taking risks and making discoveries in the field. So the Knights are asking you to push yourself, to be daring. And then the Queen and the King is what really interested me. So it says about the Queen, they've attained a powerful inner mastery of the energy of their suit. They've distilled great wisdom from and have integrated it completely into their own life. When the Queen appears, she asks you to consider your greatest skills and talents and how to make good use of them. And then, as you can guess, the Kings are about outer mastery. It says they're skilled leaders, adept at directing others in this area. When a king appears, it may indicate an opportunity for you to demonstrate your leadership. So I just thought that was quite interesting, just to understand what was going through the creator's mind when they created this and what their intentions are. Now, there are some spreads. I won't go through them, although I am really interested in this 7-card spread. I actually recently created a similar spread of my own. Not quite the same as this one. It was based on the magpie rhyme, which you can look up if you want. But yeah, the Tale of the Crow. So this is basically, I won't read all this out again, but it's a guide to storytelling with these cards. So if you get a bit fed up with reading, or you feel you're not getting very far with reading the cards, then you can use them in a slightly different way. And basically what this all boils down to is you start off your story with once there was a crow, and then you pull a card, and you just tell the story based on what you see in the card. And when you feel you've come to the end of that card, then you pull the next card. So quite an interesting wee thing. I'm a bit of a storyteller myself. I do quite enjoy the art of storytelling, so that's definitely something that I'm going to look at. And the last thing from the book that I wanted to point out to you was this, a note concerning masks. So it says here, many of the denizens of this spectral realm have hidden their features beneath masks, clearly shaped to resemble the beaked face of the crow. While such a mysterious visage may seem disconcerting at first, there is more to these creatures than meets the eye. In our own world, these masks were once donned by those medical practitioners who specialised in treating persons afflicted with the plague known as the Black Death, as it made its way across Europe. The masks allowed them to keep a safe distance from their patient, and the beak could be stuffed with healing herbs that were purported to keep the plague doctors safe. from the disease's deadly miasma while they treated their patients. However, among these healers, there were many charlatans that preyed upon the weak and weary, selling false cures. This means, dear traveller, you must be cautious as you journey through this realm and come into contact with these strange figures. Not everyone you will meet in the cards is an ally, and you must learn to discern friend from foe. So those are just a couple of wee bits and bobs that I thought would be quite useful for us to have a look at before we actually go through the cards. Now, I've literally just realised that I've actually, what have I done here? Yeah, do you know, I've got the majors sitting in the middle of the deck here. So let me just quickly pull them out and get this in proper order. And there we go. So what we can do, we're a wee bit too zoomed in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom back out. And there we go. We want optimum zoomed in on this to get through it and have a look at these cards. Okay, so we start off with the Fool. Right away, we do appear to see some sort of masked humanoid here. To be honest, this puts me in mind of the Hannibal Lecter mask, you know, the famous one that that they put on him when they take him to see the senator. The senator whose daughter's been kidnapped by Buffalo Bill. That's what that immediately puts me in mind of. And you can see the crows kind of following on. Then we've got the Magician. Pretty standard Magician, you know, as far as it goes, but you know, whereas in the Fool, the crow is kind of a bystander. The crow appears to be the Magician's familiar here. It appears to be the Magician's pet, you know, and we think the crows are the kind of masters of this realm, or the heralds, or, you know, they have the knowledge and the wisdom of the realm. It would make sense that there's a separation between the crow and the Fool here, whereas here the crow and the Magician are very much one, because, you know, the Fool is supposed to be us journeying through this realm, whereas the Magician is, I would imagine, one of the people we would come across, you know, one of the masters. High Priestess. You know, and you would look twice at this because it's quite a, you can't really quite make it out. What is really clear is the cross on her chest, but the rest is kind of shrouded in shadow and mystery, as we expect our High Priestess to be. Oops, the Empress. Crown of Stars. Cushion with the symbol of Venus on it. The Emperor, the Ankh, and again, like the same as with the Empress and with the Magician, the crows, you know, they appear to be under the Emperor's control. They appear to be his pets or familiars. The Hierophant. Almost looks like the two crows are at odds, and it's maybe just my perception, but it looks as though we've got one black crow and one albino kind of white crow here. You know, we don't normally see that distinction in the two subjects in the Hierophant, so that's quite interesting. We have the Lovers, So here the crow takes the place of the angel. Is it Raphael that's normally in the lovers? I'm not sure, don't hold me to that. We've got the two lovers kind of walking towards, are they walking towards the crow or are they walking towards the tree? And Chariot. Now when I was going through these, I initially mistook this for the moon. But yeah, so we've got the chariot being pulled and we've got two crows pulling the chariot. I mean, this would have been a card where it would have been nice to see the, you know, the albino crow and the black crow. You know, just because we're used to that symbolism. I'm not sure how keen I am on the moon with the kind of face here. I don't know if we really needed that. Let's see what it says about the chariot and the book. So in this new world of doubt and fear, you cannot remain small and hidden forever. Time has come to choose to rise above and be more than you have been. Step into the cart and you can fly faster and farther. All you need to do is hang on for dear life. Bring the chaotic strands together and weave them into the harness that will fuel your travels. Harness power. Put on the mask you wish to present to the world. Yeah, it doesn't really say anything about the imagery so much, does it? Strength, love this strength card. Almost looks like the lion's got a toothache and the character's helping the lion. Interestingly, this doesn't have a crow in it, I don't think, unless I'm just missing it. I suppose we've got the mask, haven't we? We've got the crow's mask. We've got the Hierophant. No, sorry. We've got the Hermit, my apologies. Carries the crow in the lantern, so instead of the star or the kind of bright light, we've got the crow in there, which makes sense when we, after we read what the crows are supposed to symbolise, knowledge and wisdom, and that's what we associate with the Hermit. I do think that this guy looks like Christopher Lee as Saruman. The Wheel of Fortune. This is very similar, if not the same, as the wheel in the Smith-Waite. Crow at the top of the wheel, and then we appear to have it looks like metal barbs and whatnot at the bottom. So sometimes, you're at the top of the wheel, you're enlightened, you're wise, full of knowledge. Sometimes you're, at the bottom, being dragged through a proverbial bush. Justice. The eyes are all blacked out. She's not blindfolded, but you kind of get the idea that justice is blind. It sees no favour. It's interesting how they've applied the colour here. We've got the kind of bloodied side of the scale here. And then we've got a clean side of the scale. The Hanged Man. So we've just done the Hanged Man and Tile Playdate with our Jen. His hair's really hanging down here. That's the first thing that stood out about this card to me. You'll have noticed that we didn't start off with the camera on me because my hair is equally, if not more of a mess than this guy here. The crow, I don't know if it's the first one who's been like kind of ready to take off. It's the first one that I haven't picked up on. I didn't actually mention the backs of the cards, did I? But you've been able to see them as we're going through, and they're stunning. Really love the kind of the colour and the, you know, just the imagery. Death. There's people here down at the bottom being trampled on. The face of the skeleton. Death appears to have you know, the crow's wings. This creature is riding. And is this meant to be a window? A picture frame with a kind of silhouette of the crow in the background? Temperance. Not really much to say about this one. The cups do stand out. The water doesn't appear to be defying gravity like we sometimes see it doing. Again, it seems like we've got, you know, maybe not so much the wings of the crow, but definitely the kind of that black, deep black colour. Devil. So you really get this kind of, this idea of bondage, you know. First of all, the pentagram, even the pentagram is kind of ski-whiff, you know, it's off. If you look at it, it looks as though there's just something wrong. It's been bent out of shape. You've got the crow here who's got the horns, who represents the devil in this. Then you've got these two figures. This appears to be a female figure here that's bent over. She's chained to him, and they're both chained to the devil's pentagram. I think this is a really kind of powerful image. Got a tower card here now. The tower, you can see it being struck, but it doesn't appear to be, nothing appears to be coming down yet, you know. Now you could read that in a couple of ways. Obviously each tarot card is like a short story. It's not meant to be like a snapshot, you know. It's a snapshot from a short story. So we start off with this, you know, this tower of, you know, this tower that we've built of all the things that seem important but really aren't. And then we've got this this bolt coming, which is, you know, which is going to take the tower down, you know, clear out all that kind of, all those things that we've been clinging to, and give us fresh space to build from. So we what I'm saying is we appear to be kind of seeing the story before the tower actually comes down. It's interesting. Got the star. So both cups appear to be being poured into the same place. You know, they're both being poured into what appears to be a, you know, a body of water. Crow up here, watching, and again ready to take flight. The moon, I'm not too keen on the face on the moon here. I don't think I'm too keen on them, you know, depictions of the moon in general on this card. Oops. the sun. The sunflowers and a massive crow. I mean, you don't know if this is a child or an adult. They appear to be astride this big crow. Or are they? Is that just the way my eyes are picking it up? Judgment. The world. So the figure in the world appears to be emerging from something here. You know, it looks like she's coming out of something, and I'm not quite sure what it is. I wonder if the book makes any mention of it. No journey leaves the soul unchanged. The chrysalis that has held you tight falls away and you emerge into a new life. Right, okay, so this is meant to be like a kind of, you know, a cocoon, a chrysalis. So it's the metaphor of the kind of the butterfly or the moth, you know, emerging from the chrysalis after, and you know, transforming. Okay, and into the wands. So the Ace of Wands. I'll probably go quicker through the minors, otherwise this is going to be the longest video known to man. Two of Wands. Three. The Four. You definitely get that feel of like celebration. Five. The conflict between the crows, the competition, the, you know, confrontation. Six. Doesn't really scream victory, does it? Or success. Oops, the Seven. It's this idea of being challenged, you know, and standing up in the face of challenge. Now, whether he's been challenged by the crows or by these metal barbs that we see in quite a few cards, it's this idea of standing strong against that challenge. The Eight. Nine. It looks like they're all attacking them, doesn't it? And they're reaching the point where they've had enough. The use of the red colour here is really nice because it almost looks like blood spatter. 10. It looks as though he's about to break with the, you know, the burden of carrying the whatever this is on their back. So then we come into the page. Knight. Again, I would normally associate the Knight of Wands with being really kind of high energy. And this looks a lot calmer than what we're used to seeing. Queen of Wands. Do have that kind of, the dress that she's wearing, it looks like, you know, designer, high-end fashion. And that, you know, I quite often associate with the Queen of Wands as being like the kind of the celebrity of the tarot. You know, she's the one who draws all eyes to her. Everyone's interested in what she's doing. And I really get that from the dress and the way she carries herself. The King of Wands. He's not sitting on a throne somewhere. He's, you know, he's standing, he's ready for action. Onto the swords. So look at the Ace of Swords. Two of Swords. Three. Four. Quite standard. Standard imagery for the Four of Swords. Five of Swords. So you don't really get the feeling of kind of defeat or conflict quite in the same way that we normally kind of see the Five of Swords. And maybe I suppose if we look at the sword, is the use of the colour red again, and the sword is quite bloodied up, isn't it? And the crows look as though they've been attacked. Now, if we remember that the crows are supposed to symbolise knowledge and wisdom, it's like he's attacked the crows to keep them away, but really he's doomed himself, because the crows are what are going to help him in this realm. Six, again, quite standard. Six of Swords. This idea of travelling to a calmer place. Seven. I'm going to move these away, guys. I was just going to stop covering up the cards. The Eight. You really get this kind of, this feeling of being trapped, of being entangled, maybe even claustrophobic, you know, with all this kind of stuff that's kind of coming up, that's grown up. Nine. And the 10. Stunning 10 of Swords. So not only have we got the, you know, the swords coming in and piercing the person here, but it looks as though the crows are making a feast out of them, out of their entrails. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. The Page of Swords. The Knight. Seeing a bit more energy here in the Knight's posture and his stance. Does look as though he's ready for action. Queen of Swords. She's used that sword. And the King of Swords. Really, really kind of harsh looking King of Swords. Got the Ace of Cups. The 2. 3. Celebration. 4. 5. 5 of Cups. It looks as though it could almost double up as a 9 of Swords, doesn't it? This kind of idea of terror, torture. I suppose that's, you know, when we're in the 5 of Cups energy, that's we can often feel like that. Six of Cups. You see the reflection here. It's not, the reflection is in black and white. It's not, here in the actual crow itself, it's you know, it's, there's bloodshed. You can see it in the mirror and on the floor, whereas in the reflection there isn't. You know, it's almost like it's remembering back to a time before all the pain, the bloodshed, and almost kind of drawing that comfort from it. It's like the Six of Cups, it's almost like a kind of emotional system reboot, you know? And you draw in your happy memories to bring about that reboot. So the use of colour here is really kind of, really powerful, I think. Seven of Cups. So, I mean, you could spend some time looking at this. Are we looking at a figure that's cloaked in a kind of white, a bright white cloak? Are we looking at a cave opening with some kind of long-haired figure walking away into the cave? What are we actually seeing here? You know, and whilst we're kind of busy focusing on that, there appears to be something, there appears to be something behind us. So we need to wake up, we need to splash some water on our face, we need to slap ourselves about the face, you know, to kind of bring ourselves to. The Eight of Cups. The 9. The 10. Again, the use of the red here is just stunning. I really like this card. Okay, so we're back with the Page of Cups. The Knight of Cups. Queen of Cups. And the King of Cups. Quite a harsh looking King of Cups, I have to say. And we've got the Suit of Pentacles, Ace, Two of Pentacles, you know, this idea of balancing different aspects of life. The Three of Pentacles. The Four. You know, you really kind of, if it's just in the guy's face, but you really kind of get that sense of greed, malice, or something quite harrowing about this card. Five of Pentacles. It almost looks like the crucifixion, doesn't it? In fact, I say crucifixion, it's the, you know, it's that old punishment of being tied to the post for and being left for the crows, isn't it? It's this idea of, you know, loss, hardship. The Six, so it looks like he's feeding the birds, you know, idea of generosity, of balance, of exchange. Seven. Don't quite get the, you know, the harvest, but you do definitely get waiting and patience, you know. It looks as though they're looking out over the water waiting for something. It's a really nice kind of card, so it is with a light coming through in the water there. The Eight of Pentacles. It's like someone working at a desk with a feather quill. The detailing in the robe here is really nice. Again, the use of the colour red. I really love the use of the colour red in this deck, so I do. The Nine of Pentacles. She's very got a kind of Bellatrix Lestrange look about her. The 10. Page. The Knight. Queen. And the King. So he wears his pentacle with pride. He's proud of his accomplishments and the things that he's cultivated, the things that he's grown, he's created. Okay guys, let's do the usual and go through a quick interview spread with the Murder of Crows Tarot. I've given it a good shuffle to make sure everything's kind of mixed up and stuff. So let's just pull some cards. Okay, so the first card is for the deck to tell us about itself. The Four of Cups, okay. So stability of the emotions is the thing that immediately comes to me with the Four of Cups. You know, it's a very kind of emotionally stable. Sometimes it might be a bit too stable and it might feel a wee bit bland. is maybe what we could say about it. But I mean, looking at the images on this deck, and even when you look at this image, it could never, you don't really get much blandness from it. You do more get like kind of contentment, I guess. It's interesting that we're looking at it from not even just the crow's perspective, but behind the crow. You know, the characters here, the crow's here, and then we're looking at the scene from above. So it makes you wonder what, you know, whose perspective are we looking at it from? I'm just thinking about how I'm going to fit all 6 cards into the shot. So the deck's strengths, the 7 of Swords, so cutting through the bullshit. Okay. Perhaps dealing with deception. Perhaps it's more from a point of view of doing what has to be done, you know, that the deck's going to tell us what has to be done, even if that's not a comfortable message. Quite often the 7 of Swords is, you know, it's about doing the things that you need to do to survive, thinking outside the box, and really kind of pushing yourself mentally, intellectually to find solutions, you know, new solutions to an old problem. So this could actually be quite handy, you know, come in quite useful for a lot of things. And the limitations, we've got the 6 of Swords. So 6 of Swords we associate with, you know, finding calmer waters, going to a, you know, a better mind space. Quite often it's the kind of inverted commas go to therapy card, you know. So this maybe isn't the best deck to be approaching when we find ourselves in a difficult state mentally. It's more the deck to approach when, you know, we need to find a cunning or, you know, a crafty solution to a problem that we just kind of can't seem to find an answer to otherwise. So let me just move these kind of up here. The next card is, what are you here to teach me? The Hermit. So this deck's here to teach me to really go within, look inside myself. The answers are inside me. There's no use looking in books. There's no use, you know, asking someone else. Don't bother looking up a YouTube of how someone's done it before. This deck is going to be for, you know, inner kind of the search within, you know, looking inside myself. How can I best collaborate with you? The Magician. So, Magician, active energy. So first and foremost, use the deck. You know, how many decks do I interview and I get this message? It's like, don't just, you know, put me back in my box and then shove me in a shelf and don't use me again. Like, this is a deck that needs to be used as it's a tool, you know, and it should be used as such. And also, like, when you look at when we were talking about what the crows represent, and I'd mentioned about how the crow really appears to be the magician's ally. So maybe use the deck like an ally, you know, treat it like a friend, with care, compassion, respect. And then what is the possible outcome of a relationship together? We've got the Ace of Swords here. So when we think about the traditional meaning of the Ace of Swords, we think, you know, a new mindset, a new idea, this spark, this intellectual spark, and this idea that's going to give way to, you know, new possibilities. When we look at the image, though, what is quite interesting is that this crow appears to be being impaled on the Ace of Swords. Although it doesn't look to be in pain, it doesn't look as though it's struggling. But the sword does appear to be kind of cutting through its heart, and it really kind of, it really gives this idea of, you know, cutting to the heart of the matter, you know. So it's maybe going back to like kind of what we were looking at here, with the Seven of Swords. Lots of swords cards here actually, isn't there? So this is probably going to be quite an intellectual deck, you know. So there we have it, guys. That is my interview spread. Sorry I couldn't get all the cards to fit on in the shot. And yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Take care. Hopefully I'll see you at some point soon. If I don't speak to you before the new year, I hope everyone has a happy and safe new year. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.